Hello, my name's Daniel Kitson, hope you're going well. I thought we would have a look today at hydrocity Zone 1, Act 1 rather, from Sonic 3. Another really groovy tune I suppose. I've looked at the Marble Garden Zone previously, so I've just written out bass, sheet music and tab, so notation and tab, which you can access if you're on the Patreon. So go have a look at that if you're interested. Otherwise we'll just have a quick look through it, and I'll kind of explain some things that are going on with the bass and how you can play it. So first, it's always good to have a listen to what you're trying to play, just so you kind of know where you're aiming for and all that. So let's have a quick listen and just kind of pay attention to what the bass is doing. Cool, and then we get back to the top. So there's kind of three main segments if you were paying attention, and we've got maybe this first area. So I'm looking at the sheet music here, so feel free to follow along if you can access it on the Patreon. So we've got kind of one main section, and then another main bit which they repeat. They have like 4 bar sections really that you're repeating. And then there's one near the end where it's more different, and then they just repeat the whole thing again. And then if you're playing the game, it will just keep looping from there. Okay, so the first bit, let's get into it. Yeah, cool. So, similar to Marble Garden, swung 16th kind of feel, which, if you go back and look at that video, I kind of roughly explained how that works. But basically, if you're reading quavers or eighth notes on the sheet music, they're just very straight, very normal. It's the 16th notes that are moved over a little bit further, which, again, I'll go through in more detail in the previous tutorial. Let's have a look at the hands. So that's kind of roughly it. It's always a bit tricky thinking about shifts and things. That's kind of the info that you don't really get from just looking at sheet music on a page, is like what fingers to use and if there's any special considerations you need to make or anything like that. So for this one, we can think about where we're shifting. So we can start on our pinky finger for that 3rd fret, for a C. There you go, C, B flat with the pointer, open A. So C, B flat, A. And then we've got this shift up. So far we've only been in one position. We've been down here, which we kind of call first position, maybe half position if you're from double bass, but we call it first position because our first finger's over the 1st fret. Pinky, pointer, open, point, and then back to pointer, and then ring finger, pinky, sorry. And then for that very last one, we're sliding back up with our pointer to get up to the 3rd fret, or 3rd position, I suppose. So, slide up, quite a quick slide. Something that can really help with slides is looking ahead to where you're sliding. So for this case, I'm kind of looking ahead to that 3rd fret. So as soon as I'm kind of done with that open string, I'm looking ahead to this specific fret, that specific place, so that my fingers are ready to go right there. Because if you follow your finger with your eyes, then you can get your brain's kind of lagging a little bit, and you always want to be kind of 1 or 2 steps ahead so that you're ready for the next thing. So sliding, good. Looking ahead to that thing, that's good. And then we get a bit of a pop almost. So it could almost sound like slap bass, like. something like that. But we're going to just try and emulate a little bit that with just a really hard pluck on that first string. Yeah. So it kind of roughly sounds like, you know, a pop from slap bass. Yeah, similar thing. So we're going to do that with pointer finger sliding up, and then pinky goes to that first string and does the 5th fret, and then we pluck really hard. Get that kind of sound. So all together, yeah, it's pretty straightforward really. Okay, and then we shift back down to that 1st fret. So shifting up, shift back down, and then we repeat. So that's pretty much the first 2 bars. It's just that thing. So I'll play that through 2 bars straight through one more time, just so you've got that. There we go. So ending on that pinky, so we're ready for the next time through. Cool. Okay, and then in the song you repeat that a couple times. Okay, let's move on to the next section. So moving through pretty quickly. Okay, next bit. Into the next section. This section is almost repeating the same 4 bars twice, but the very ending is a little bit different. So we'll look at the first 4 bars, and then we'll just look at that ending, which is a little bit different. So the first 4 bars. So again, kind of a pattern. So we're the first 2 bars, we're just kind of moving it up 2 frets, really, the whole shape up 2 frets, and then we end up with that. The second 2 bars is just the same pattern. We're just moving it around a little bit, called transposition. So yeah, I mean, again, we're kind of thinking similar patterns with our shifting as well. So that little phrase, we've already heard that. We've heard it here. It's just been moved down a little bit. Can you hear how similar they are? Yeah, so similar fingering and all that too. So we're starting on our pinky, pointer, pointer, and then we can go middle for that last one. So yeah, just to keep our fingers kind of in those zones. Because next we have to play an F and then an E flat and an F. A little bit awkward to play here. A low E flat is kind of always painful to do on bass, especially if you have a 4-string. So if you have a 4-string, you might want to detune. So you have, instead of, you know, E, A, D, G, you might have E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. And then that would change all your fingerings and things. But if you have a 5-string like me, so you have F there, 1st fret, and then you have to shift up a little bit just to get that 4th fret nice and cleanly, that E flat, and then back up to that F. Like that. So not ideal. Another way to play the same thing would be to move the F to the 5th string, and then my wrist isn't moving at all, compared to... But we're staying there because of how we've gotten there, because we've already been down here. So it already makes a lot of sense to just stay in this area. So we'll just kind of deal with that, I think. Okay, and then the next bit. So this is a little bit more complex, I reckon. We've had this, boom, 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 and then we use our middle finger on the 4th fret. So that's a decent shift. Might take you a while to get used to that. Okay, so we've got kind of like a major, or like a dominant 7 arpeggio almost going on here. So we've got A flat, which is 4th fret, middle finger, C, 1st finger on the 3rd string, pinky on the 6th fret on the 3rd string, which is E flat. So there we've got an A flat major triad actually. But the rhythm of it is that that second note is really quick. Because of the swung 16th thing. So that second one's quite quick, which makes it a little bit harder to play. And then we have that. So that's an F over there, and then a G flat there with the pointer and then middle finger. So middle, pointer, pinky, pointer, middle. It's not too hard when you break it down, but it's just getting those shifts, which might be a little bit uncomfortable for you. And then we've got second fret on the fourth string, which is that G flat, which leads us into the same thing, but just on the next 2 frets higher. So those first 2 bars, let's look at that. That's the whole 2 bars. Yeah, so we've looked at all the fingers for that. So yeah, feel free to scrub around, and if you need to go back and see what I said for each of those fingers, feel free to as you practice. Cool, and just so we know what's going on harmonically as well. To me, that's very much like A flat Mixolydian. So Mixolydian is one of our major scale modes, and there's heaps of videos all over YouTube about what modes are and how they're used and all sorts of things. But in this case, the Mixolydian mode is generally associated with maybe funk music. I mean, there's other genres and things too, but in this case, it's most obvious that it's tied to funk music. So that's all in the Mixolydian mode. It's all diatonic in the key. Yeah, so it's maybe related to sounds, or in this kind of world, similar to this. All that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. So it's all, yeah, vaguely funky, I think. So we're getting, A flat is definitely our root there, and we're kind of just going back down. So that's using the flat 7 and the major 6, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. And then we're going back up, so down to the 6, actually down to the 5 even. That E flat is the 5th of the scale. 5. And then we're back up to the root, and then arpeggiating up the chord, and then we get up to that flat 7 on top. Yes, and then we're doing the same thing up 2 frets. So instead of being in A flat Mixolydian, A flat 7 kind of area, we're now in B flat 7 kind of area. Sorry, and then the fingering changes a little bit here. So let's have a look at the next 2 bars now that we're in B flat Mixolydian. Yeah, cool. So same thing. We've just moved, instead of doing this here, so that was what we had in the first 2 bars. We could do it here. We've just moved that back to the open strings, just to keep things a little bit simpler, maybe a bit easier for you to reach, because generally using those open strings is a bit easier to play than using lots of frets and things. Okay, so we're up here. So starting on that B flat, same shape. So pinky, pointer, 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 middle, and then here we get pinky, pointer, pinky. So you might want to just try that a little bit just to practice getting that shift in there. So there, shifting back, and then shifting further back. So there's kind of 2 shifts in there. And then we stay in that position. So B flat, D, F, G, A flat. And then we end on a B flat, and then we go back into what we had before. Cool. So it's kind of those 2 groups of 2 bars transitioning into each other and looping between them. So the 4 bars together, one after the other, sounds like this. So starting in the A flat 7 area, moving up to the B flat 7. And then we'll be back at the A flat. Cool, so that's how it sounds all together, and that's all the notes and fingers all broken down. So again, feel free to go back through that if you would like to. Cool, so as I said before, we've got that, which is repeating, and then we come to the end of that section, which changes a little bit. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's all just on G with that pinky finger. So one more time, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then that leads us into the next bit. So those 2 bars together, I'll play that for you. So yeah, yeah, so just then I switched with my pointer finger up there pretty quickly. That's optional, you don't have to do that, so... into the next bit, which we're about to look at. Yeah, so here's a little bit funny. We're crossing our strings again, going into our low E flat. Pretty quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Yeah, probably should use that pinky for that low E flat. 1, 2, like that. Okay, and then cool, that's our like 4-bar section. So a little bit more things going on than what we've had before. Cool, okay, so let's break that down from the beginning of it. So yeah, we've looked at that. We need the pinky probably to reach that, so F there, E flat down there. And then we've got, yeah, so I reckon probably sounds best as a hammer on. And kind of a pretty hard pluck on that second string. So F, G, low G. So 3rd fret, 5th fret, both on the second string, and then 3rd fret on that 4th string. So a hammer on there would look like this. So I've got pointer playing the note, and then press on with the other fingers. So the pinky's lined up with that 5th fret. So my right hand's not doing anything. That left hand is doing all the work. Just lets you get a little bit quicker and a little bit smoother transition between the notes. And you pluck quite hard on that second string, like I mentioned. Yeah, kind of like what we had right at the beginning with the high pluck, kind of emulating the slap sound. Yeah, so doing a similar thing here. And then getting that first finger across all the way to the 4th string while that hammer-on's kind of happening. So there's lots of things going on here. Getting that octave jump. Yeah. Cool, okay, and then we're just hanging out on notes after that. It's just getting the rhythms of it might be a little bit tricky. So again, looking at the sheet music, we've got 4th fret on the 4th string. So that's kind of 3 semiquavers in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. And then we do a similar rhythm, not exactly the same, on the 1st fret on the 3rd string, which is our B flat. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you can see the transition notes there. So let's put those 2 bars together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it sounds all together. So the hardest bit is probably going to be that hammer-on octave jump thing. So take your time practicing that. No rush, you know. Go at your own pace. Yeah. The next line, which starts the same way. We've learnt that already. That's cool. And then this next bar is quite different. So it's kind of a big rundown. So we're going from C down to B flat, down to A flat, down to G. And the fingering I was using there was pinky, pointer, pinky, middle. So a little shift in there. That makes the most sense to me, I think. Cool, and then that leads us back into what we've already learnt before. And if you're learning this without the sheet music, then you can go slowly through all those fingers that I was just playing there if you need more help going through it. Okay, then we're up to the very last 2 bars of the whole thing, and then it would repeat to go back to the top. So, last 2 bars, different to what we've been doing. So now we have... which leads us back to the top. So that's 4th fret on the 4th string, G sharp or A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're shifting down to that F on the 1st fret, which we've been using a fair bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. That kind of thing. And then we have the very last bar, which is mostly on G with a little bit of B flat as well. So G, with our pinky, and then we'll get to B flat right at the end with our pointer finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so kind of lots of semiquaver syncopations going on there. So I recommend looking at the original recording for that specific rhythm to get used to how it sounds. Unless you're really good at reading sheet music, which is always a good thing to do. Cool, okay, so let's try maybe that bigger section together. Let's try 8 bars. Cool, and then we're back to the top. Sweet, so that's how it sounds all together, and again you can go through at a slower speed and all that. Sweet, so that's all the sections. I'm going to play through the whole thing now with the recording, so you can see what it looks like in action. And yeah, as I was saying before, we've got sheet music on the Patreon. So go over there, sign up. It's only $1 a month. It's very cheap. You can afford it. I promise. And yeah, enjoy all those resources to help you learn this song, and the previous one that I've done as well. And then also over there, once a month, I'm doing an improvised live looping session as well. So yeah, you get that video as well as the Ableton live session. So you can look at all the samples, you can look at how I set up everything and how I layer everything, all for you. So yeah, do sign up for that, check it out. And yeah, here we go. Here's the whole thing. Sweet, well thank you for checking out this video. Yeah, hope you know how to play the song now. Yeah, it's a very cool bass line. It's mostly, as I kind of talked about in the middle there, it's mostly kind of Mixolydian mode things. And yeah, look, using lots of like octaves and like, not quite slap, but that kind of feel for a bunch of it, so really cool. Yeah, let me know if you want to learn more sonic stuff, or if you would like me to look at other things for you, or any sorts of things. But yeah, like and comment if you enjoyed this, and yeah, let me know if you want more. Thank you.